This week, Hilti Neuron gets its first swipe at Milwaukee.
Mark Thomas convinces us to buy a corded tool. And Milwaukee has its biggest leak ever, and it involves belts and boxes.
This is your Power Tool Week in Review.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ego, power beyond belief.
Welcome back, Power Tool fans. I'm Rob.
And I'm Sarah. And if you've already subscribed and you've turned the bell on, you're likely here within the first 60 minutes of our show going live.
And if that's true, then be sure to watch closely for Jay's head to show up in this episode. If you find it, email us the timestamp at first@coptool.com for a chance to win our weekly $50 gift card. Good luck.
We don't see many small air compressors that run on batteries, but this one does. Or you can plug it in, and once again, we have Metabo HPT to thank for that. This is the Metabo HPT 36-volt multi-volt 2-gallon cordless air compressor, and Brian over at Workshop Addict decided to test it out. With 135 max PSI with 1.6 CFM at 90 PSI and 2.3 CFM at 45 PSI, it's perfectly capable of covering a wide range of tools. Metabo HPT says it can drive over 1,000 18-gauge brad nails on a single 4 amp hour multi-volt battery, which isn't bad at all. Brian clearly likes the little guy, calling out its small form factor and strong frame, but there are a few things he'd still like to change. To find out what those are, head over to Workshop Addict.
Hilti invited a few of us to Switzerland last October for a private unveiling of their all-new 24-volt Neuron line of power tools. Now, 2 months ago, we were finally allowed to tell you about it, which we did in this video over here. But this last week, the tools finally started to arrive in stores, and Hilti was kind enough to send a few of us an enormous crate full of tools. Now, while we've barely had time to unpack ours, Dave over at Mancaver Tools is already running head-to-heads. This week, he got his own crate of Hilti and decided the best way to start was to throw their new Neuron Impact into the deep end with Milwaukee. Now, Dave ran them both through his typical impact torture test, including running some particularly evil, gigantic lag bolts through a tree stump. Now, these new Neuron tools are nothing like anything Hilti has offered before, and with Dave's first video, the testing has only just begun. To see how it held up, head over to Mancaver Tools, and be sure to sub because he's planning to run through the entire crate he received.
Our buddy Tools over in New Zealand got his hands on another Makita 40-volt saw. Why? Because 6 wasn't enough? Probably. This is the all-new Makita HS004G or GSH02 here in the States. 40-volt XGT track-compatible circular saw. It's not a plunge saw, but technically just a Makita GSH01 7¼ circular saw, but with a specialized base designed to run on a track saw rail. Well, not exactly. It does have a modified tilt function, so when you adjust the bevel, it won't cut through your track, which is nice. Tools does a great job of not only explaining the differences between this and a proper plunge saw, but also shows off a few other tools from Makita that can be adapted to ride the rail, including this awesome little guy that can use a track and its reversible bevel to perfectly undercut a wall. I learned like 30 things in this video, and I highly recommend that you go check it out at Tools and Stuff.
Mark, like the rest of us, really wanted a Milwaukee track saw, but there isn't one. Just gonna let that sink in for a minute. But instead of picking up a Makita or a Festool, Mark hit up eBay's certified refurbished program for a corded track saw, and I think he may just be onto something. This is the Bosch GKT 13225 corded track saw. That cord apparently leads to a plug, allowing you to pull electricity from your nearest wall. Fascinating. Literally 0 batteries involved.
I didn't know Tools did that.
Apparently in Michigan they do.
Weird.
The saw is powerful, packed full of features, and Mark takes his time walking you through each one. By the end, I'm not gonna lie, I was convinced that while the convenience of cordless is always welcome, it just isn't necessary to enjoy all the benefits of a really great track saw. But of course, you can decide for yourself over at Mark Thomas Builder.
Milwaukee leaks. You don't see them often on our channel, and until now, we couldn't tell you why.
Yeah, many of you have noticed that when Milwaukee launched 12 new air tip videos on their own channel this week, the music they used was, well, familiar. Yes, that's our theme song, so why is Milwaukee using it in their videos? Well,
today Belts and Boxes is proud to announce our acquisition of the Milwaukee brand from TTI.
Now, we've been working on this deal for months, and it's been super hard to keep it a secret.
Our first order of business was to use our own theme song in all of Milwaukee video content.
Next, we're renaming the company Columbus, because we felt that being named Milwaukee and located in Milwaukee was a little bit on the nose, you know?
But we're not done yet.
Nope.
We're also going to increase the Milwaukee tax on the full lines of tools because, well, to be frank, you're all still going to buy them.
Yeah, they are. We also asked the team to fast track the track saw, And they all just kind of looked at us really confused and stuff, so I'm not sure what to make of that yet, but we'll get back around to that.
We have many more changes yet to come.
Yep.
And if you guys thought these tools looked hot in red, wait till you see our new limited edition line of fuchsia. Bam!
Now, I realize this news is probably very shocking for many of you, but it is true. We already have t-shirts.
No way! Wait, did Milwaukee just pay $8 for that song just like us, and it was a total coincidence, and now you're trying to roll that into a promo for our new merch store?
I mean, that does sound more realistic, but we should probably do some more research and get back to you.
When you go to choose a battery platform, do you worry about choosing an 18 volt when 24 volt is an option? Should you? The team at Torque Test Channel wanted to find out. To research this, they decided to try a few budget-friendly half-inch impact wrenches, one 18 volt from Skill and a 24 volt from Cobalt. Both were about the same price and size, but not the same amount of power. To further complicate the results, they added a Greenworks model as well. The results were interesting to say the least. After a full run of testing, we find out from Future Torque that one of these eventually bit the dust. He also spends the last few minutes of the video explaining why volts isn't the only number that matters on power tools. You can see the full explanation at Torque Test Channel.
The boys at Hayes Machinery are back at it again, this time pitting Milwaukee Hammer Drill against their SDS Hammer Drill. And things go exactly as you'd expect.
I've done something wrong.
They start by testing their M12 version in some concrete. After, of course, they sort out which end is better. And once they get started, they clearly forget they're on camera and simply go nuts with power tools. Did any of you expect anything else? The testing revealed some pretty impressive results, even for these simple hammer drills. And as an added bonus, we get a quick tip at the end that clearly James wasn't even aware of.
When you do the chuck up, you do it nice and tight as you can. You can hear it ratchet it, and then you let it go back one. So it does click. And you go back one. So that way, as you're drilling in, it doesn't actually tighten your chuck up. So, like we said before, the old one couldn't undo it very easily. Now, you'll be able to undo it nice and easily.
Even I learned something today. Look at that.
For the full test, head over to Hayes Machinery.
Do we have an update on our production crew giveaway shelf?
We do. Spider saw the all-new, yet-to-be-released tools from Flex and immediately sent over the pro accessories that the winner will need to use them. That includes...
That was the laziest snap you've ever done.
Thank you. That includes their 7 1/4 inch carbide tip. Where are we? There we go. Carbide tipped framing blade, the 7-inch diamond cutoff blade. You can use your rear handle flex saw to hack through metal, rebar, angle iron, brick, and more. They're also including this amazing set of spade bits, 14 pieces in a case. And finally, their Spider Mock Blue 10-piece Stinger drill bit set, which is a huge favorite of ours.
All of those will go on our Flex shelf, and you'll find Spider Pro accessories on our Makita, Milwaukee, and Toolbox Buzz shelf as well. Each shelf has over $2,000 worth of power tools, and every month we choose a random channel member and let them choose which shelf they take home.
If you'd like to join our production crew, just subscribe to our channel and then click the join button next to the subscribe button for your options.
I want to thank Ego and Ohio Power Tool for sponsoring this episode. Guys, we couldn't do this without you.
Now, if you liked this episode, we'd appreciate a quick thumbs up.
And if you loved it, we hope that you subscribe.
All right, guys, go do something kind for someone else this weekend, and we'll see you next week.